Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thanks for joining me on my channel where I like to bring you the best tips and tools for creating beautiful home decor on a budget. So if you like home decor budget videos, I hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. Today I have 12 spring decor DIYs that you can make in 5 minutes or less. Here we go. The first 6 projects I'm going to show you are great for a spring tiered tray, but can be made on a larger scale. This is using Tumbling Tower blocks, craft sticks, the jute carrots, and some moss. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking 16 of the Tumbling Tower blocks and I am gluing them together with my wood glue in sets of 4. So we're going to do that, and then once those dry, we will take 2 of the sets and glue them together side by side. This is going to be the bottom of our little wooden crate that we're making. And then the other 2 sets are going to be the ends of our crate. So here I'm gluing on the left end, and then we'll glue on the right end. Then to make the slats of our crate on the sides, I'm taking these large craft sticks. They're not the jumbo, but they're bigger than regular size craft sticks. And I'm going to cut off the rounded end and then measure where the other side needs to be cut. And I'm going to make 4 of these of this same length. Now I'm going to take my antique wax. I wanted to give this whole crate a dark stained wood look. So I love using this because it does not smell at all like regular stain, and it cleans up really easily. So wipe it on, or brush it on, and then wipe off the excess, and you have a gorgeous dark wood stained look. So we're going to also do that on the 4 craft sticks on both sides of the craft sticks as well. Once everything is dry, we will finish assembling our little crate by just hot gluing the pieces of the craft sticks on. So like I said, this is for a tiered tray, but you could do this on a larger scale, maybe instead of craft sticks, using paint sticks to make a larger crate. Maybe we'll do that in a future video. So here's our cute little wooden crate, and all I'm going to do now is add some of this excelsior grass and the 4 twine carrots from Dollar Tree, just setting there in the grass. And then with our little chalkboard clip, we're going to just make a little sign. But first, I got to show you guys this little ladybug vacuum. I've had this for a while, and I never show it in my videos, but it's awesome for cleaning up things, especially like that. So here on the little clip chalkboard, I'm just going to write bunny food 5 cents with my paint marker. And then once that's dry, clip it to the side of our crate. And here is our first tiered tray DIY, all finished. This next project is seriously so easy. I'm using the lid from a coffee container, some of this Spanish moss, and these foam eggs. Mine are from Dollar General, but I know they have them at Dollar Tree as well. All I'm doing here is pulling out a chunk of the Spanish moss, and then with my hands, I'm just forming it into the shape of a bird's nest. And I'm using the coffee lid just to help me give it a base and keep it kind of contained. So putting a bunch of hot glue down there, then I'm going to set the moss there and continue to form it. And then I decided to pull 3 of the white foam eggs out of the bag, gently hot glue those together just so they don't all fall out. A little bit of hot glue on the bottom, and this tiered tray DIY is complete. And again, I have to show off the little ladybug again because it does a great job of cleaning up little tiny pieces of craft supplies. So here is our little bird's nest for your tiered tray. Our third project is using more Tumbling Tower blocks, some of the green moss, and this wood Happy Easter bunny sign from Dollar Tree. Now this is from last year. I did not see these this year at my Dollar Trees anyway, But if you don't have this, you could easily Google search a bunny outline image, print it out, trace it onto something thick, like maybe a recycled cereal box or something like that. Now I'm also making a stand for this project, again using tumbling tower blocks. I'm using 4 this time, gluing pairs together end to end, and then once those are dry, we will attach them to our finished project. Now all I'm doing here is I'm just using some hot glue, and then I'm going to be gluing on some of this green moss. This is a very simple project that just gives kind of an earthy and natural look to some of your spring decor. I love that you can flip it over and use the outline of the image to trim away the excess, and then you actually do see the bunny shape with the moss. Now that my pairs of tumbling tower blocks are dry, I'm going to hot glue those to the front and back of the base of my bunny, add a little more moss there at the bottom, and then this project is going to be ready to go. And I love that it can stand up on its own in our tiered tray. I did decide to add one of our little foam eggs to the project just at the bottom there, just to bring in a little bit more color. Feel free to choose whichever color you like. And I love our little moss-covered bunny. Our next tier tray project, again, tumbling tower blocks, some foam eggs, some blue and yellow chalk paint, and some sticker letters. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a base now using 8 tumbling tower blocks, gluing them together in pairs, 4 pairs, and we'll let those dry while we work on our eggs. Now these are blank foam eggs that I got at my local dollar store, but you could definitely use the ones that Dollar Tree has. I put them on skewers just so that they're easier to paint, and I'm going to use pool blue and the maize yellow. I'm going to paint 3 of them with the light blue and then the other 3 with the yellow. Now coming back to our blocks, I'm going to glue the pairs together to make a little base or platform for the eggs that we're going to glue them to once we're done making them. Sometimes with these tumbling tower blocks, you just have to kind of turn them around and see how they best fit together, but then just let those 8 blocks dry. Now that our eggs are dry, I'm using some of these sticker letters that I've had forever since I was a Creative Memories consultant, and I'm going to spell the word spring. If I would have had enough, I would have on the back side spelled Easter so that this could have been a 2-sided project. Go ahead and put a layer of Mod Podge over your sticker letters just to make sure they don't peel off. Then starting with our middle 2 eggs, we're just going to put a dot of hot glue at the bottom and start gluing our eggs to the base that we made out of tumbling tower blocks. You could definitely leave it like this, but I decided to fill in some of that blank space and cover up some of the hot glue with a little bit more of this green moss. I love this stuff. It just screams spring. And then just trim away the excess. And here's another tiered tray decor. You could make this larger as a home decor as well. Our next tiered tray project, I'm using one of these wood crates, some smaller sticker letters, 3 colors of chalk paint, and some ribbon. We are going to use this crate to make a mini book stack. So book stacks are very popular, and you can make a small one using one of these wood crates. So using some painter's tape to block off where I want to paint, I am making my bottom book be this light blue color called Pool. Then using some tape again, we will tape off the top and bottom so that we can just paint the middle section with our yellow chalk paint called Maize for our middle book. And then once that's dry, we will tape off just leaving the top section so that we can paint our third and top book using the light green color called Celery. Now, once our books are all dry, we're going to use a black Sharpie marker and a ruler to mark off the edges that separate our 3 books in our stack. And on the front and back, there's kind of a grooves. Just kind of run your marker or whatever you have in the groove just to make that black line. Then using these small black sticker letters and starting on the right, we're going to make the words plant, grow, and bloom. There are so many different ways you can do book stacks, different words you can put on them, but I thought this was really great for spring. Now, I thought it looked a little too perfect, so I'm going to take my white chalk paint and just a little bit distress the edges and the sides, and then I'm also going to kind of pinch the bristles together to get right in that space between the books and just give this a little bit more distressed of a look. And then taking some jute twine, we're going to tie a knot there at the bottom. We're going to wrap the jute twine a few times and then be ready to finish up this super cute fake book stack for our spring tiered tray. And I decided just to take a little piece of white grosgrain ribbon and double knot a little piece here and cut it off just for a little bit more of a decorative touch to our book stack. And here it is, our finished project. What would you put for spring book stack? Our next and last tiered tray project, I'm again using Tumbling Tower blocks. You can see I'm going to glue them together in the sets I have shown. We'll also use some white chalk paint and some florals. So here I'm gluing together a set of 5. This is going to be the front of our little mini flower stand that we're making. Then the 4 will be the base of the stand. Each of the sets of 3 will be the sides. And then the 8 there together will be the back of the stand so that it's a little bit taller. So once those sets of 4 are dry, we'll glue them together in 8, and then we'll start assembling our box. I'm so glad you guys are here. I hope you will also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And also, if you enjoy budget home decor DIYs, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. All right, so we're almost done assembling our mini flower stand. Here you can see I did add 2 more single blocks there to the top. This is going to help hold our little sign that we're going to make. But first, I'm just dry brushing white all over our flower stand. Now, using this larger chalkboard clothespin, I'm going around the design with my white paint marker just to make it stand out more, and then just writing flowers 25 cents. We will then hot glue this at the top there to be the little sign for our flower stand. Next, we'll cut a small little piece of floral foam to hot glue inside our flower market stand and put a little bit of moss there. And then I'm taking some of these lilac bushes, a couple of the dark purple, a couple of the white, and a couple of the light purple, and just poking those into the floral foam. And this is so super cute. I absolutely love this, and it's so cute and mini for your tiered tray. The last thing I am going to add to it is I'm going to go around one time with the black and white gingham ribbon and then a jute bow. Here's one more look at the 6 DIYs we've done so far. These are great mini versions of tiered tray decor that would be so fun and easy to make with few supplies and very quick to make. Each of them were about 5 minutes or less. Moving on to our other 6 DIYs, these are, again, like I said, 5-minute or less spring DIYs using one of these wood charger plates, a page or image from a calendar, and some Mod Podge. I'm also going to use some nautical rope and some greenery. So here I'm just trying to figure out how big I need to cut out this image. And then I decided just to roughly cut around the greenery wreath there on the image. And then once we place it down here, we can kind of, with our thumb, kind of score it and then cut it closer to where it needs to be. And now that we have it the right size, we're going to go ahead and put a layer of Mod Podge on our charger plate and spritz a little bit of water on our image and then lay that down on the center of our plate here. This is something you can do with any of the charger plates from Dollar Tree as well as the pizza pans. Now I'm going to take some nautical rope and I'm going to go around that edge between where the plate dips down and my cut image. And I felt like I cut away so much of the greenery in the calendar image that I really wanted to add some in and give a three-dimensional look to the project. So I had some of this greenery that was very similar to the image, and I took little pieces and I'm just going to, one at a time, hot glue them around the circumference of the nautical rope just to fill it in, and just keep going until I feel like it's as full as I want it. And here's what our finished project looks like. I love to know what you guys think of this. I just think it's so simple and farmhouse and is really an easy project to do. And I think these would make great gifts as well. Our next DIY is using one of the circular mirrors from Dollar Tree. I'm using some black and white gingham scrapbook paper, a white foam board, and this bunny that was from a garland that I used in an earlier DIY. Now, my mirror broke, so I'm having to create a back for my mirror. Well, the frame anyway. So I'm using a piece of foam board from Dollar Tree. You saw me just trace around the frame. You'll also notice that my frame is not pure black anymore. I had distressed it with some white chalk paint for a previous DIY, so that's why it looks like it does. Now you could use scrapbook paper on this, contact paper. I decided just to dry brush some of my mineral chalk paint to continue to go with kind of the neutral color scheme of this project with the black and white gingham. And while that's drying, I'm going to trace this felt bunny on the back of the black and white gingham scrapbook paper. This was one of 8 bunnies that came in this garland. I used 4 on a previous project, so I decided to use this one as a template. Then we'll go ahead and cut out the bunny. And because it is so thin and I need it to be a little thicker, I'm going to use some Mod Podge and glue it to this thin piece of cardboard that came in some packaging. So this will make it a little more sturdy, and we'll just let that dry and then we will cut it out as well. Taking a Sharpie, I'm just going around the edges of my bunny just to make it stand out a little bit more from the background. And we're going to take that pom-pom tail from the teal colored one and add that to our black and white gingham bunny. Now I am taking my background that I made for my mirror frame here, and I'm just going to hot glue it to my frame so that we can finish up this project. And now we're taking our bunny that's on the cardboard and we're just gluing it at a few little spots to the frame. So it is going to stand out. It's kind of more of a three-dimensional project. And then is our finished project. You can hang a hanger on here if you'd like. I didn't like how you could see that foam board, so I did decide to take this Dollar Tree gingham ribbon and I'm going to wrap it all the way around my frame just to give it more of a finished look. And here's our black and white gingham bunny. What do you guys think? This is, again, another project that is super simple. Anybody can make it and it looks super cute and farmhouse. Our next project is using 3 of these pots from Dollar Tree. I have 2 saucers I got at Walmart. You could use the glass circular candle dishes if you'd like, or the little round trinket trays, but I decided to use some saucers. Now I'm going to paint all 3 of my pots with the light green color called celery, and then just let that dry. We're just doing 1 coat on each of the pots. My saucers I'm going to do with 1 coat of our white chalk paint, and then once that's all dry, we will start assembling our candlesticks. I'm going to use E6000, and first I'm going to take some around the bottom of this pot, and then I'm going to glue another pot there as well, just to make this candlestick a little bit taller than the other one. Now this one is just going to be glued upside down on the bottom of the saucer to make our shorter of the 2 candlesticks. And once the 2 pots are dried together, we'll go ahead and glue the other saucer on the top of this taller candlestick. To give our candlesticks more of a farmhouse look, we're going to dry brush some truffle. It is a dark brown chalk paint all around our candlesticks and also on the saucers themselves, again, just to give them more of a rustic look. I did take, now this is not jute twine, this is nautical rope unraveled. So this is one of the 3 strands of the nautical rope. So it's a little bit thicker than the jute twine, but not as thick as a full piece of the nautical rope. So I'm gluing that around where the saucer and the pot meet, and then also around that lip or that raised edge of the pot. For a finishing touch, I decided just to add a small black and white gingham bow to the center of the tall candlestick and at the base of the shorter one. Then I'm just taking some moss and putting a little bit of a layer of it, and then any glass that you have, any glass jar or votive, you can put on top. I added a little bit of pebbles and just a battery powered tea light. There are so many different ways you can make these candlesticks, and I just thought this set was super fun for spring and using items that you can find at the Dollar Tree. For our next project, I'm using a paddle cutting board from Dollar Tree and some free printables from online. Now, I find wood cutting boards all the time at thrift stores, but I wanted to show you how you could do this using Dollar Tree supplies. So these cutting boards are a great size, but they are plastic, so sometimes the paint does not want to stick. I go ahead and do just a thin layer of matte finish Mod Podge on top first and let that dry before we start painting our cutting board. Now I wanted to try to make this look like a wood cutting board, so I'm using this caramel colored chalk paint by Waverly. It's actually called Hazelnut, and I'm giving it a base coat, a pretty solid base coat here of this color, and then we'll let that dry completely before we continue on. Once that is dry, I am going to take that truffle again and very lightly dry brush this on just to try and make this look like it has a wood grain effect, and then let that dry as well. And then I did give it a quick spray with a clear matte spray. Now, here's the front. The back is still white. If you search free spring printables online, you will find so many. I thought this one was so cheerful and cute. I just printed it so it would fit the size of the cutting board there, trim around it with my trimmer, and then we're just going to apply a thin layer of Mod Podge and smooth it down on the front of the cutting board, getting out as many air bubbles as we can. And here it is, completely dry. You can see I added just a simple burlap bow at the top and wrapped it with red to bring out the red in the image. I will go ahead and link this image in the description box below. My next project is very simple again, using one of these Easter tag signs, another wood crate, some floral foam, and some greenery. This is just a very simple planter you can make using one of these tall tag signs. We're just going to flip it over and paint the tag sign and the crate with our white chalk paint. It's okay if you don't paint it solidly. You can leave a little bit of the brown showing. That just adds more of the farmhouse effect to the project. You guessed it, we're going to dry brush some of our truffle chalk paint to again make our project look worn and rustic for our farmhouse decor. This is just such a simple thing you can do just to really add a lot of dimension and character to any project that you make. If you feel like you got too much of the brown, you can just go ahead and sand it lightly with a sanding sponge and it blends it in beautifully. And then go ahead and dry brush your crate as well. And now with a combination of wood glue and hot glue, we're going to just glue this crate at the bottom of the tag sign, and this will allow it to stand up on a shelf or a table. So this is kind of a bigger version of the flower stand we made for our tiered tray. We're just going to put some floral foam here in the crate and then cover that up with a little bit of the moss. For this one, I just decided to use some eucalyptus greenery. I believe this is from Walmart, maybe Hobby Lobby, but just poking it in, arranging a few pieces in here, and it's super simple and fun to do and looks so great. Using some of the black and white wired gingham ribbon from Dollar Tree, I made a simple bow that I hot glued right over that hole that the hanging string was on. And then I'm just wrapping some jute twine around my hand and then tying it in the middle just to make a cute little jute bow as well to glue on top to add dimension and a little bit more texture. So this is a very neutral version of this. You could always add whatever colors you want to match your decor. But I just think this is so sweet and again would make a great gift. Now this last DIY is so simple that it's almost hard to call it a DIY, but I have always wanted to try wrapping eggs with different types of materials. So I have this set. These are a little bit larger plastic eggs, and I'm going to wrap them with some of this mop head string and then the microfiber, and also I was going to do nautical rope, but it was way too thick. The first thing you need to do though, unless you want those colors to come through, is to just give your eggs a little coat of white chalk paint. And then with lots of patience, just start with a little dab of hot glue, and then you're just going to go around until you get all the way to the bottom of your egg. I really like this microfiber mop head. It's very soft, and I just love the gray and white together. And here's the one using the regular mop head strings. Now the microfiber is one continuous piece. These are different lengths, so once you finish one, you will have to start another piece and just put them right up next to each other. So what other Dollar Tree items do you think would be good to wrap around Easter eggs? I would really love to know what you guys think. Here I'm using these two different types of mop heads. And then the third one, I am going to end up using some Dollar Tree ribbon for the third one. So this farmhouse ribbon here, I kind of measured out 6 lengths going all the way around. And I'm going to hot glue them kind of around, I don't know, start at the top, go around the bottom, and I hot glued it there at the bottom. And then we're going to use 6 pieces all together to completely wrap the egg. So I needed something to put my eggs in, and I had this wood bowl. It was very shiny, so I decided to mute it down a little bit using some mineral chalk paint. And then once it was dry, I did sand most of it away just so it looked really old and worn. Added some Spanish moss and our 3 eggs that we covered using Dollar Tree textiles. So thanks again so much for joining me today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed these quick and easy 5-minute or less Dollar Tree Spring Home Decor DIYs. Please let me know in the comments which one was your favorite, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you want to continue to see budget home decor DIYs. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye!